So God bless them. The male and female were moved before they had a body. We don't know what defined their initial realm of existence, but they began their journey in the earth in a good place. If you saw Adam in Eden, it was not because he labored into Eden. Eden became a natural dimension of the blessing, because if he moves you in the spirit, the physical dimension will replicate it. The spirit realm is the causal realm. This, our earth, is a receiver realm. If you were blessed there, after a while, these signs will come around you. I remember, Pastor Lamide, were you with us when we had our first worship and wonders night in Adenike? That we don't have light. We used to rent a generator. No, we're not renting a generator. Let's be fair. The generator belonged to some people. So but we used to fuel it in our Lamde. But you see, our church grew faster than the owners of the gen. And for some strange reason, because we never spoiled that gen, they will now leave the gen, but the cable that we used to power the gen into the house, they will take it away. You know, you can't put your teeth inside gen to supply light. Sometimes they will leave the cables of the mix amp, but they will carry the mix amp away. And any day they are tired that they can't carry the mix amp, is the cable they will take away. And since we cannot line up and connect ourselves from the wall into the mix amp, it means it will be there, but it will not be useful. Imagine having a drum with no snare drum and no kick. What do you call that? It's called The D and the R are gone. Because if you gave us bass drum plus the kick and the snare drum alone, and maybe one of these cymbals, we'll still have managed. They take away what makes that thing useful, and they leave us what was there. We were lucky because I think Toby that time, Lamde, Toby was a professional drummer. So Toby had kick, Toby had snare, Toby had stick. So once he arrives, he just checks what is missing, and then he incorporates it, and then we have drum. Even when we're struggling, we're blessed. Been here. And I like the sound tonight. I hope it's this good online. You know, these things are not proof that God just blessed us. We have been walking in the blessing. We just arrived at a location. And what the blessing did was to give visibility to what was in the new location. If we journey beyond here, still blessed. What the blessing does is that when it walks into a dimension, it animates what is in that dimension. Pastor, all your life, when you were born, you had male gametes. I'm going biology now, so you could give birth to children. I hope you know. But when you entered marriage, there's a context for that manifestation. So you were blessed with reproductive powers, but when you journeyed into marriage, your reproductive powers now fleshed out as John. Abi? So if somebody did in the seasons of your single, is that what they call it? Singlehood. Thank you. You need to speak good English. In the seasons of your singlehood, if somebody looked at you and called you barren, that you are not blessed to have children, he will be lying, because there is an environment where your blessedness must come into before it becomes manifest. Some of you are rushing because you want to produce by the blessing. Unknowing to you, the blessing understands the environment of its manifestation. Hi, Jerry, please put the sermon when God clothes in the secular. Are you with me? In that sermon, I said to us that Joseph already carried an unction, and it was an unction for headship. Are you with me? the way God introduced that unction to him was by dreams. Are you with me? That's how he got to know. But if you understand the Abrahamic lineage, all of them are prophets. From Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. Jacob knew that his son had a headship. The problem was that Joseph announced his dream in the midst of his brothers, and they fought him. It was a wrong location for announcement. How do I know? What did Jacob buy for Joseph? What clothes did he wear? Now, if you do your study in scriptures, the cloth of many colors. Come, Michael. Pastor Michael. See, I'm comfortable with Michael. I think it's good. Look at the way this cloth is. This is how Joseph's cloth was. But this is how many colors? 1, 2, 3. So it had a long robe, but it had multi-colors. Jews don't wear it. Only Egyptians wear that garment. And Egyptian commoners don't wear it. Only Egyptian lords wear it. So the father knew that he had headship in him and clothed him like the heads of Egypt, because the headship was going to manifest in Egypt. Sit down. So every time he woke up and wore that garment, his brothers could not understand, but his father could understand. I am sending you into your future. There is a matrix to the manifestation of a blessing. And if you advertise it before time, you will arrive, you will go to prison. Are you with me? We have built doctrine around Joseph's prison. Their errors, the patriarchs, their errors were left for us to understand. It had a matrix. What Joseph should have said was, Father, nobody dresses like this. Why did you clothe me like this? And then the father will have said, okay, it's because I found out that you will not be Lord here, you'll be Lord in Egypt. So if he had shared his dream with his father will have told him, don't announce it here. You're going to have problems here. Because they will think it's here, and it will not happen here. Jacob was the one sitting at home, right? His sons were the one going to the field. But it was Jacob from home who knew that there was corn in Egypt. That's prophetic. It's not everything you talk about. There are some unnecessary battles. Let the blessing arrive. When it arrives in its matrix, everybody will see it. But sometimes people are pressured. We think that we're on the same time clock. And so when somebody's advertising something, you too want to throw yourself in the face of everybody to say, it's happening for me too. You don't need to. You're blessed. But our time frames are different. The guy who sat beside me when I wrote WAEC, he scored F in maths. Why did I say scored? In our school, you don't cheat. I remember his name, his first name, his surname. Once you don't know it, they tell you, you sleep. So he slept throughout mathematics, he had F. I'm not half. I'm not a quarter as wealthy as that young man now. He sells yams. I mean yam. Somebody say yam. I think has gone from your raw yam now. He now does the yam flour. That's not the processed flour. You know, they just the unblended one. That's all that he sells. During the last election, he was attempting a Senate seat. You know, it's if you have extra money that you do those things. I'm saying it's called an F, and I would have thought that my A1 in mathematics was an advantage. Time and chance happened to them all. What is important is that you carry what you are supposed to carry when your opportunity comes. That's why you must live prepared every day. Because the blessing is crying out for a manifestation. I've learned that in ministry. I go to schools or go to churches. There are just 20 of them. Sometimes the value of 20 men is greater than 20,000 men. Are you with me? You just need one person, and all of your doors are flung open. But if you look at what they are, I've learned that there are meetings I go for that I pay my transport fare. I fly myself. I feed myself. I lodge myself. I don't allow bitterness to come into my heart that they are not taking care of me. Sometimes they flaunt money, but they don't give to me. But I'm not angry, because time and chance happened to them all. An interpretation or a translation says being at the right place at the right time is what gives the advantage. You are blessed. What you may not know is the season of its manifestation. You may not understand the location. That's what we call the matrix of your manifestation, but you are blessed.